From the 20-yard line on first down, it is Pringle picking up about 3 or 4. And so far, this is the type of thing that Wally Buono wanted to do, limit his first play yardage to about 3 or 4 yards.
Look at the mobility of Alondra Johnson. His key is he's going to look at Mike Pringle, work down the line of scrimmage. When he finds the open hole, step up inside and meet the running back head on to stop him for very little yardage.
Second down, an extra defensive back comes into the ball game. The handoff goes to Pringle. Pringle gets outside Kellogg. Down the sidelines he goes, and he has a Baltimore first down, taking the ball up to the 43, forced out of bounds by Jordan. And for Mike Pringle, that is a romp of 18 yards. Defensive coordinator Frank Spaziani watching. He felt containing Mike Pringle was the big key.
Got Marvin Pope loses the containment on the inside as he takes the inside route, and that allowed Pringle to get outside.
And it's Pringle again. He tried to go wide, is forced to cut back inside and may be limited to about 1 yard. Baltimore is going to use Pringle from a variety of sets. Offensively, they're going to move him around, running much the same play, but from a number of different positions.
With Pringle at second and 9. Big Daddy Marvin Pope against a big man, Neil Fort. Neil Fort tips the scales at 336-7. They do a great job of shutting it down and let those linebackers chase and make tackles.
From the shotgun, Ham on second down, flips it out to Shannon Culver, and he is going to be stopped short of a first down by Kenton Leonard. 3:34 remaining in the opening quarter here at Taylor Field, with Baltimore in front 7-3.
Out of the shotgun, Shannon Skinny Culver is his nickname. Great out pattern. Tracy Ham having enough time to throw the ball on the spot. But number 30, Kenton Leonard, with great closing speed again, shuts it down before he can pick up the first down.
A line drive punt by Josh Miller on his first punt of this opening quarter into the win. He led the CFL this year in punting average, 47.7. And this ball hangs in the wind. It's taken by Coleman, and this draws a couple of flags. No yards will be charged against Baltimore. That's one of the problems you have when the ball hangs up. The players going downfield to make the tackle get caught in that 5-yard area.
Well, it particularly does, and when this team is noted, the coverage team of Baltimore, for their great speed.
No yards. Baltimore, 15-yard penalty, first down.
It is imperative that once you get off the line of scrimmage and you use that speed to get downfield, you have to locate the football.
A lot of questions here on the sidelines about how Doug Flutie's newly mended tendon will take these cold conditions. He has stated that he has to keep his arm in motion, keep it moving, Don, so it doesn't stiffen up.
Well, he wants to keep it loose, and that was one of his concerns when he made his comeback in the final regular season game in Toronto, but he doesn't have any problems. And it is O.J. Brigance who has the interception. But are they ruling that Sapunjas had the ball and it was stolen away from him by Brigance?
O.J. Brigance just made one of the best defensive plays that you have going to see in all of '95 season, as he took the ball completely away from Dave Sapunjas. Now look how Doug Flutie stands in the pocket, drills the ball inside. Dave comes down, the knee hits, and the ball comes into the hands of O.J. Brigance. They're saying reception, Calgary. Ball is dead as the knee hits the left knee. O.J. Brigance took it away from him after he was down.
Brigance did a nice job of stealing it from Sapunjas, but it is a catch for the Western Ontario product. A sideline pattern for Alan Pitts. It's incomplete. It will be 2nd and 10. Alfred Payton decked Doug Flutie just as he threw.
Tremendous heat from Payton on the outside, and this is what this man does best. Little swim move, straight speed. Doug Flutie felt him coming, and as he threw the ball, sidearm and he's ducking away, the ball was off target.
Payton had 18 sacks for the Stallions this year. 2 previous Grey Cup appearances with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Out of the shotgun, 4 receivers to the left. Flutie steps up, drills it to Sapunjas. This time he hangs on, breaks the tackle of O.J. Brigance and gets an additional 4 yards. Something they are working on. The pass to Sapunjas over the middle, trying to get in behind the middle linebacker, Brigance.
And that's exactly what he did. He found O.J. O.J. took a look at Dave Sapunjas, who was unable to react and come back toward the middle. Doug Flutie was able to throw that ball with great velocity down the field. Dave Sapunjas with another excellent catch.
Again, 3 receivers to the left. Flutie rolls in that direction, throws deep for Pitts, incomplete. And Watson again defending against Alan Pitts. It will be 2nd and 10 Calgary with 1:30 remaining in the opening quarter, and the Stallions in front 7-3.
Alan Pitts will get into a battle every time that he gets off the line of scrimmage. Ken Watson 1-on-1 against him. The ball goes through the hands of Alan Pitts. A catch that we would normally see being made by one of the best receivers in the CFL.
A 4-receiver set left this time as Flutie is in the shotgun. 2nd and 10 Calgary. Flutie steps up. He may take off himself. And Flutie dives through to the 25-yard line. He is going to be about 3 yards shy of a first down. Momentarily, things opened up, but then pretty good speed, closing speed by the defensive backs to limit his advance to 7.
Good coverage downfield by the Baltimore Stallions. Doug Flutie feels the heat. Now he comes up and does what he does best. Starting to run with the ball, and you can see how his feet slipped out from under him. Matt Goodwin comes by, takes a hit, makes just a small hit on the back of the hip area.
He's limping.
Doug Flutie with the helmet, and Doug felt that.
Flutie remains in the ball game to hold for Mark McLaughlin, but he is still favoring his right hip. This will be a 32-yard field goal attempt. Kick is up, and it is good. And the Stampeders, after falling behind 7-0, following the 82-yard punt return by Wright, are now within a point. But Flutie comes to the sidelines. Jeff Garcia is there to talk to him. There's athletic therapist Pat Clayton, and he is limping and appears to be in a great deal of discomfort, favoring the right hip.
Well, let's take another look at it as he slips down just at the last minute. It's the left knee of Goodwin that comes in, and it gets Doug Flutie right in the small of the back area. Take a look. Watch the knee come in. Boom, there it is. Little shot, and Doug Flutie really felt that. Pat Clayton, as you said, the trainer's taking a look at him on the sideline. Doug puts the jacket on, try to keep that arm nice and warm.
From the 35-yard line, it's 1st and 10. Swinging it out to Robert Drummond, and Drummond will be close to a first down, forced out of bounds.
Robert Drummond could be the best all-around athlete I think I have ever seen in this league in a long time. 6'3", 215 out of Syracuse, runs a 4.3 40, runs the ball extremely well, catches the ball extremely well, and can block.
But he hasn't scored a touchdown this year, which comes as a surprise when you talk about his catching abilities and his running abilities. But when they run the football, Mike Pringle is the man who gets the call most of the time. 2nd and short, and Tracy Ham calls his own number for the Baltimore first down on what should be the final play of the opening quarter here at Taylor Field in a 7-6 Grey Cup game with the Baltimore Stallions leading Calgary.
Very slow start for Calgary, a couple of miscues. Obviously, the punt return by Chris Wright is such a big thing, but then they've been able to battle back to only 1 point behind.
Well, time had run out on the clock, but apparently the official time has one more play remaining in this first quarter. Tracy Ham inside to Pringle, and he gets about 2. Will Johnson was in on the stop for Calgary, and that is the end of the opening quarter, with Baltimore leading by a score of 7-6.
Don is talking about the new Ford F-Series XLS. He's saying the XLS has many extras like two-tone paint, air conditioning, cruise control, and more. Over $3,600 in extras. And a powerful V8 and automatic transmission for only $29.95. Canada's best value in Canada's best-selling truck.
Toughest truck around.
Gee, that guy gets on my nerves.
The rewards of using the American Express card keep adding up. Every time you use the card, you can earn points that translate into a world of exciting rewards. Like flights on Canadian Airlines, dining, entertainment, the Membership Rewards Program. It's our way of saying thank you for using the American Express card. For details or to apply for the card, call 1-800-268-AMEX.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by Ford of Canada, makers of the new 1996 Ford Taurus.
Here in the Calgary bench, we've got an update on the injury to Doug Flutie. It is a bruised tailbone. Flutie was kicked by Kent Benson on that last tackle, but he will stay in the game, although he is still feeling a fair bit of pain. Don?
Well, that would be a blow for Calgary if Flutie is unable to continue. But as Wally Buono was saying, one advantage we do have, we have two proven quarterbacks. Statistically, Calgary with 81 passing yards in the opening quarter, 41 rushing yards for Baltimore, and those numbers are pretty much following what everyone expected in this game. The punt return, the difference right now with Chris Wright taking it 82 yards, a Grey Cup record for the major score, the first time that Tony Martino kicked it away.
And the majority of those rushing yards by Mike Pringle, who only had 33 yards in their last meeting that Baltimore lost in Calgary.
The Stampeders against the run this year have given up a meager 55 yards per game. This ball is live. This is a live ball picked up by the Stampeders' Will Johnson, and he's going to go the distance. Or will he? No, he stopped at the 2. 36 yards as that swing pass was mishandled and Will Johnson picked it up.
This is what this defense has done a lot of times. As he plays out right here, it comes back over on this side. Now watch the path of the ball. The ball is clearly thrown behind. Will Johnson comes up with the big play.
It looked as though Will Johnson was going to go all the way to the end zone, but he was brought down at the 2-yard line. Gerald Alphin got there to make the tackle. So the Calgary Stampeders, with Doug Flutie at the controls, now have a chance to take the lead for the first time in the football game. First and goal. There's the fake by Flutie. Flutie throws into the corner of the end zone. Marvin Pope, the touchdown. The short yardage offense, and Marvin Pope, the most unlikely candidate on the receiving end of the 2-yard throw from Doug Flutie.
But it is his second reception touchdown in the course of the 95 season, and they've used him exactly like this earlier in this season. As you said, a guy that's noted for his blocking, his size, gets in there. The defensive back takes his eyes off of him ever so slightly, and Big Daddy makes no mistake with that reception.
So the Calgary Stampeders have taken the lead, and now Mark McLaughlin will attempt to add to the Calgary total, and he has the 13th point of the game for the Stampeders with 1 minute gone by in the second quarter. Turnovers and special team play were expected to be such an integral part of the outcome, and here is Pope in the end zone taking the Flutie pass for the major score. Pretty good hands for a linebacker.
Hey, excellent hands for a linebacker. Does a good job. Doug Flutie's able to buy that extra time getting outside, breaks the containment, and look at the good feet that Marvin Pope does, and a very excited Wally Buono and John Huffnagel, the offensive coordinator, right behind him.
And And after every Calgary touchdown, the Stampeders have Ricky, ridden by Karen Drake, gallop the length of Taylor Field. Ricky didn't get a lot of work in the last couple of games at McMahon Stadium as the Stampeders didn't score a whole bunch of touchdowns. But they're hoping at Taylor Field, after going to the expense of bringing Ricky to the 83rd Grey Cup game, that the horse will be galloping up and down the length of Taylor Field.
See if you can get that horse lathered up real nicely through the course of this football game.
Now, there's not much doubt who this crowd is supporting at Taylor Field. It's almost like a home game for the Calgary Stampeders. Mark McLaughlin's kickoff taken by Chris Wright. Chris Wright gets to the sidelines, and then he's corralled as he brings it back to about the 45-yard line by Kevin Reed.
Tracy Ham's numbers so far through the course of this game, 2 for 5, and he hasn't thrown a lot of passes against the Calgary Stampeders. The last 2 playoff games, he's only had a total of 38 attempts. 22 of them he has completed. But when you've got a guy in the backfield named Mike Pringle, you don't need to throw the ball that much, just enough to make the defense respect you.
3 receivers wide to the right. Ham throws to the sidelines, and he has got Robert Drummond open for a Baltimore first down. Many times when the Stallions throw that little swing pass out to Mike Pringle, they throw the ball behind him, and that's what they did when Pringle fumbled and Will Johnson scooped it up.
He's playing a 3-deep zone. Coleman goes to deep. Anthony McClanahan does not get out to the flat. Tracy Ham has a quick release, gets the ball out to Drummond very quickly, and he's able to pick up significant yardage.
18 yards for Drummond. On first down, Ham with time, throwing to the sidelines. He's got Clark open, and Clark has a first down. That's a long throw, sometimes a dangerous throw out into the flat.
Well, it really is, and that is the throw that the Calgary defense says, I'm going to give it up. If you want to take it and take the chance of throwing it, look how long the ball hangs out there. But there is no Calgary defender reacting quickly to it, and it allows Baltimore to make a big gain.
To the 23-yard line, first and 10, Baltimore. 12:50 remaining in the second quarter. 4 receivers to the left. Ham rolls to his right. A quick pass intended for Drummond. It bounced in front of him. It will be second and 10.
Matt Finley came on a blitz from the middle linebacking position and got in Tracy Ham's face very quickly, forced him to throw that ball off balance and a little lower than he wanted to.
Matt Finley contemplating retirement. He has suggested that this might be his final game as a professional, and he would love to go out with a Grey Cup ring on his finger. Calgary again showing blitz as Ham drops back. Ham gets protection. Oh, and the intended receiver, Mike Pringle, could not hang on. He was open, but couldn't squeeze the throw from Tracy Ham.
I'm suggesting that a blown coverage by the Calgary defense, not knowing exactly what they ran, but Mike Pringle circled out of the backfield. It looked like Anthony McClanahan had him one-on-one and just let him go. Sometimes when you're standing all by yourself, alone, nobody hanging on top of you, those are the toughest catches, as we just witnessed there with Mike Pringle.
Huerta, with the wind at his back, will be attempting a 30-yard field goal. When he was kicking into the wind, Dan Crowley was unable to pin it for him. This time he gets the ball on the tee, and it is good. So the Stallions have closed to within 3 with 12:09 remaining in the first half.
Take the North American-built Toyota Camry with its powerful twin-cam engine and European-inspired styling, and add special value features like air conditioning, plus cassette stereo, plus power locks and power windows, plus a keyless entry system, and that all adds up to the new Camry Plus. Everything you want in a Camry, plus a great deal more. It's affordable quality. Get it at your Toyota dealer.
Nacho Man, yeah. I've got to be a Nacho Man. Got to be a Nacho Man. Hey, just add Old El Paso to Old El Paso, top, and 3 minutes later, you're a
Nacho, nacho, nacho man.
Old El Paso, where it's easy to be nacho.
When the world is changing before your eyes.
We take you directly to the heart of the story.
And you need to know why.
People want straight answers.
When it matters to Canadians.
We don't just cover what's interesting. We cover what's important for you to know.
When there's more to the story.
We're going for the facts and the feelings.
For the finest hour in news and analysis, join Peter Mansbridge and Hannah Gardner on The National. Weeknights at 10 on CBC.
13-10. Calgary leads with 12:09 remaining in the first half, and the Stampeders will scrimmage from the 35, first and 10. Dave Sapunjas has twice been named the outstanding Canadian player in the Grey Cup game, 91 and 92, and he has started this game very strongly, Dan, and one of the reasons for his success, he seems to find the hole in the zone so well.
Well, Dave takes advantage of his athletic ability to get off the line of scrimmage quickly, read defenses extremely well, and then turn around, find the open area, sit down, and make himself a big target for Doug Flutie.
Flutie throwing down the sideline. Sapunjas in a battle, incomplete. Ken Watson had dropped back in coverage against Sapunjas.
Dave Sapunjas gets off the line, turns. He has the head exactly where he needs it. The ball slightly thrown behind him. He makes a good effort to try to come back, but there's excellent coverage downfield by Ken Watson, who was there step for step.
Sapunjas during the regular season had a career year, 111 catches for 1,655 yards. He lines up to the right. Flutie dumps it off over the middle, and Sapunjas takes it to the 40-yard line. That will be a gain of 5. Tracy Gravely came up to make the tackle, and that forces the Stampeders to kick it away.
Now watch, he's going to come off the line quickly, slide back underneath Alan Pitts. It's a delayed screen. Look at the offensive lineman downfield trying to get a block. There's Rocco Romano, the right tackle. Jamie Crystal out there trying to make something happen. But this Baltimore defense has such great team speed, reacted extremely well to it.
Well, let's see how Martino handles the wind for the first time. In pregame warm-up, he was kicking pretty good into the wind. As a matter of fact, he boomed a couple of about 45 or 50 yards. Ball that bounces is mishandled by Wright, I should say, and he manages to get it back and then is down at the 38-yard line. There is also a flag on the play.
Same thing pertains to the Calgary coverage team as they are kicking into the wind. Get off the block, get off the jams, use your speed, get down the field, but you have to pick up the football.
0 yards. Calgary 87. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Kevin Reed was the man who was quickly downfield in that 5-yard area, resulting in the no yards penalty.
He's getting blocked by Smith, number 21, but he is caught in the no yard zone.
First and 10 Baltimore. The Stallions are at their own 43-yard line. 10:40 remaining in the first half. They trail by 3. Ham drops back. Ham is able to escape. There's a penalty flag on the play, and when it occurs in the backfield, this usually means offensive holding.
I think you're going to get exactly that there, referee friend. Number 66, Neil Ford, I think is going to get called for holding against Marvin Pope.
Dave Ewell, the referee this afternoon, explaining the options to the defensive captain, Matt Finlay. Few snow flurries falling at Taylor Field.
Not a lot of thought in this. I think right now they're going to talk to Matt Finlay. He says, take it back. It's either face mask or holding.
Major foul, face mask. Baltimore 64, 15 yards, first down repeated.
Mark Dixon, the guilty party. A face mask call against the Stallions.
This is the play that I saw. Will Johnson working off the sideline, coming off the corner extremely hard. Neil Fort with the hand up in the face. That could have been called also.
First and 25 now for the Stallions. Ham swings it out to Pringle, looking for some blocking help, and he is upended.
Pass is good to 27.
Drummond was out trying to block for him, and Coleman was one of those who came up to defend against Mike Pringle.
From a defensive philosophy, if you force Tracy Ham to have to dump the ball off to Mike Pringle coming out of the backfield, you've won the battle. Mike Pringle is the guy that's going to run the ball, and if they're not throwing it downfield to their receiving threats, dumping it to Mike is a victory for Calgary.
Ham is throwing deep for Culver, and he overthrew him. Gerald Vaughn had dropped deep with Shannon Culver as Ham was attempting to strike with the wind at his back with 9:38 remaining in the first half.
Shannon Culver was a receiver that came into the Baltimore organization last year, played one game and decided to leave on his own. I think he showed a lot of immaturity from talking with Don Matthews. This year he has come back to this ball club, contributed, and has really showed some maturity in the 95 season.
And Josh Miller has tremendously improved his kicking this year, mainly due to an off-season workout program where he improved his leg strength. Terry Vaughn waits for the ball back at the 20-yard line. And good downfield coverage. Alvin Walton was the first to make contact with him. A 54-yard kick for Miller, 6 yards on the run back. 9:15 remains in the half.
Everybody's changing. Gonna bank?
Well, these old shoes got a long, long way. When the sun goes down.
How far to go, William?
How far is far, Jacques?
Good.
Someday this will be the world's longest undefended border.
Undefended against what?
Well, people over there, let's call them Americans. They'll flock here on vacation, marvel at how clean everything is. And when they ask for a beer, they'll discover what incredibly good beer will brew.
Our true Canadian lager.
Exactly. What will they give us in return? Something called Baywatch.
Relax.
Magic Bag, the new way for Canadians to relieve pain or promote relaxation. Available in 2 sizes at all fine pharmacies.
Calgary in front by 3. Ron Lancaster, the wind's been a factor in this game, but not in the way we thought it would be.
No, I really expected the team with the wind to dominate it, and they haven't. The team against us made some first downs, and therefore it's kind of neutralized it. So it's been good.
James, great coverage by Calgary on the Baltimore punt.
It was great coverage by Baltimore on that punt where they limited Calgary on the return, where Calgary was not able to do that against Baltimore, and it cost them a touchdown.
Don?
Well, Scott, I too am somewhat surprised that the team with the wind hasn't had the success many people prior to the start of this game thought they would. And now it's Calgary operating against the wind from the 26-yard line. Hand off to Tony Stewart, trying to go wide in the sweep. Good pursuit by Matt Goodwin. Dan, this is something that Baltimore does. They will chase the football. They have great team speed. They don't do a lot of complicated things defensively. They try and force you to make mistakes.
They certainly do. They have the kind of athletes that they can line them up in a position. The offenses know that they are going to either block them or they're going to come on a rush. The problem is now is he's saying, now Calgary, you know Peyton's going to come, you know Goodman's going to come. It's your problem. You have to block him. Now can you?
2nd and 7 for Calgary. Flutie is moving some people around. Flutie gives the toss to Stewart to the short side, and Goodwin was over there again.
Doug comes down. This is a little keen play that he likes to do, an option play, and they normally have done this down around in the goal line area. They thought they may catch Baltimore sleeping ever so slightly, but a good reaction by this defense shut that play down.
When we talked about Doug Flutie's focus this week, he did not have the distraction that he has had in the past 4 years of being the nominee for the Outstanding Player Award that has taken up a lot of his time.
It really does put a drain on you. I mean, there's a lot of publicity there. There's a lot of press conferences. You have people, you know, tugging at you all the time, and it's hard to stay really focused. Doug Flutie looked in the locker room the past 2 days as focused an individual and an athlete as I have seen getting ready for a championship game.
Oh, this punt is blocked. Coming off the corner, it is Brigance who got to it. The ball is loose. It's taken into the end zone. Touchdown for Alvin Walton. We talked in the pregame about the role of special teams. A touchdown for Alvin Walton on a blocked punt after a touchdown by Chris Wright on an 82-yard punt return.
Alvin Walton, nicknamed Dirty, is the leader on special teams. Low drop. Look at the sellout by O.J. Brigance, the middle linebacker, comes in clean, gets his hands on the ball. Everybody's looking around for it. O.J. picks it out. But the man that comes up with it and gets it into the end zone is Alvin Walton.
And now Carlos Huerta with the point after. And he puts it through, and the Baltimore Stallions now have a 4-point lead with 7:39 remaining in the first half here at Taylor Field in Regina.
Like a rock, I was strong as I could be. Like a rock, nothing ever got to me.
Introducing the most powerful line of engines ever in a Chevy truck, Vortec.
Like a rock.
Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
On the next edition of The Health Show, the story of Gus Fazio and his amazing battle against Parkinson's disease. We're well into the operation now. How are you feeling?
I feel quite well.
The Health Show, Thursday.
For $200 up, you can listen to your neighbor down the street.
You shouldn't listen to people's conversations. The exception to the rule, I guess, would be unless they're planning to murder somebody.
Dial Scanner for Murder, Tuesday on Undercurrents with Wendy Mesley.
3 years ago, Professor Valerie Fabricant murdered 4 of his colleagues at Concordia University. There had been signs of trouble to come.
He became quite agitated and mentioned that he would shoot the rector and take the rector hostage and other people hostage. And then he told me that he had a gun. He'd gone over at the edge.
But no one could stop him. The Tenure of Dr. Fabricant, Tuesday night at 9 on Witness.
O.J. Brigance, who told us this week that the focus of the Baltimore Stallions different this year than last year, and he certainly had his focus as he came in to block this third down punt by Tony Martino.
And what shows you about O.J. Brigance is great speed, because he came from outside of your frame, outside of your picture to get a piece of that. And Alvin Walton is the man that came up with the big turnover. This is what happens when your offense may be sputtering a little bit, your defense may be sputtering, and then the special teams take over and score some points for you.
Coleman takes the Carlos Huerta kickoff at the 15-yard line, and Coleman is taken down at the 31, and that's where Calgary will scrimmage 1st and 10 with 7:34 remaining in the half. Scott?
Don, on our Chrysler Canada Grey Cup halftime report from Taylor Field, we'll take in the halftime show, a celebration of Saskatchewan, a show 19 months in the making since Regina was awarded the Grey Cup in March of 1994, I should say. Saskatchewan's been huddling up ever since. We'll analyze the first half, and I think we could be talking a lot about specialty teams, which have accounted for all of Baltimore's points, Don.
And when they won the Grey Cup bid in '94, money was put aside to refurbish Taylor Field. Some $2 million was spent here to add to the capacity of the crowd. The Flutie pass blocked by Alfred Payton before he could get it to his receiver. And you talk about focus and players who are ready for this Grey Cup championship. Alfred Payton, definitely one of them.
Well, you saw earlier where he says, I will not accept losing. Alfred Payton gets upfield. As soon as he sees the ball thrown, Swack, his nickname is. That stands for Southwest Athletic Conference, where he played down in Grambling. got his hand up, made a big defensive play.
2nd and 10 as Flutie is in the shotgun. Flutie looking for Alan Pitts, and Pitts got tangled up with Charles Anthony. And Flutie overthrew the big slot back, and the Stampeders are forced to kick it away again, and Alfred Payton was again in the face of the Calgary quarterback.
Don Matthews' team are noted for being physical. Number 9, Charles Anthony, tries to get the jam on Allen, but Allen seems to have stumbled on the turf, lost his footing, and the ball sailed past his outside hand. Look at the speed of Alfred Payton as he gets around Bruce Beaton and uses that quickness to get right in Doug Flutie's face.
Tony Martino stands back at his own 17-yard line. This has not been the type of game that Martino had envisioned. A punt return for a touchdown and one blocked, and this one bounces back towards the line of scrimmage. It's picked up there by Wright. Actually, he never got his hands on it as he was hit, and it was recovered by Biggs, but they are going to call Calgary for no yards, as there were several Calgary Stampeders well within the 5-yard area.
One of the young rookies that had just been dressed for this ball game, Jackie Kellogg, jumped into that zone very quickly, tried to cover the punt up, just not realizing, and this is the key thing when you get into championship games, you have to be disciplined.
It was here at Taylor Field when the Stampeders on October 14th suffered only their 2nd loss of the season that Martino injured his kicking foot. It has hampered him ever since, but he has managed to persevere and still handles the punting chores for the Stampeders.
We have illegal interference on the receiver, 15-yard penalty, 51 Calgary, first down.
He attacked the ball. It's Alondra Johnson who is called for the illegal interference on the receiver. You cannot touch him and hit him. You have to allow him an opportunity to field that punt.
So that improves the Baltimore field position. They will scrimmage 1st and 10 from the Calgary 40-yard line. 6:14 remaining in the first half here at Taylor Field in Regina. 3 receivers wide to the left. A handoff goes to Pringle. Pringle inside is hit and then driven back. Dan, one of the problems Pringle has had, even though he led the league in rushing this year, is that he is sometimes a little impatient. The offensive linemen were saying they sometimes have sore ribs from him running right into them.
Well, it's hard to say, like, Mike, slow down your takeoff a little bit, make it a little slower so that you can hit the hole. I'll get my block. Great blocking up front by Shar Perdanish. This guy's last year the CFL's most outstanding lineman.
Yes, he was the outstanding lineman last year. Right next to him, Mike Withacombe, the outstanding lineman this year. Tracy Ham with all sorts of time. Now he's flushed out, throws over the middle, and it's incomplete. Robert Clark was the man that Tracy Ham was looking for.
Don, when you have such an attacking defense like Calgary does, it is unusual to see a quarterback be able to stand in the pocket for as long as Tracy Ham did on that particular play, but it's a great compliment to those big horses up front, the offensive linemen, for being able to protect him that well.
6'7", 310, Neil Fort. 6'3", 290, Mark Dixon. 6'5", 280, Nick Subas. 6'5", 300, Mike Withacombe. 6'6", 290, Shar Perdanish. Field goal attempt by Carlos Huerta, but there is a penalty flag on the play. This flag was thrown in the end zone.
Possibility of an illegal substitution could be the call.
There's no infraction on the play. Field goal is good.
I think in counting the number of players, there may have only been 11 Calgary Stampeders on the field. But the Baltimore Stallions are going to take the field goal as they increase their lead to 7.
We want to make it perfectly clear. You'll find guaranteed low prices at your Canadian Tire store every day. If you find a better price anywhere, we'll match it. Guaranteed.
From high above, we see Taylor Field with a capacity crowd watching this 83rd Grey Cup game. And And the Calgary Stampeders trailing by 7 as Flutie out of the shotgun flips it out on a hitch screen to Dave Sapunjas. He's making something happen on his own as he takes the ball upfield for his best gain of the afternoon. O.J. Brigance made the tackle, but not before number 25 went 26 yards.
Excellent throw by Doug Flutie to get the ball out there very quickly to Sponge. Just a hitch pattern. He was lined up extremely wide for a slot back. That has to be a key to the defensive back to know something's going to happen. He's going to have to come back inside, and come back inside he did with that hitch, made the reception, and hit the ball upfield.
First and 10. The ball is at the Baltimore 48-yard line. This time, 4 receivers line up wide to the left. The pass complete to Tony Stewart, and Stewart struggles to try and get a first down, and he'll be close.
Tony Stewart, an excellent receiver out of the backfield, and if the Baltimore defense is going to give the wide side of the field to Doug Flutie, force him to throw the ball out there, he's going to take it. This time, he uses Tony Stewart, who's sitting out there all by himself. Good power move right now over number 17, Douglas Kraft, the ex-Calgary Stampeder, to be able to pick up that first down, or at least get it close enough to call for a measurement.
They are going to measure. You know, when Baltimore scored the punt return touchdown, and then on the ensuing kickoff, Tony Stewart fumbled, it looked as though the Calgary Stampeders could be in a huge hole.
Well, and they really were in a huge hole. And at the point, a highlight part of their game, their special teams, which Coach Wally Bono said this year was the most improved phase over the whole team. But at the beginning of this game, it was showing signs of having a crack in the armor somewhere.
The measurement reveals a Calgary first down with 3:50 remaining in the opening half. Calgary trailing by a converted touchdown, first and 10 from the Baltimore 38-yard line. Flutie moves in behind center. Jamie Crysdale fakes inside, and then under pressure from Payton has to dump the ball before he wanted to. Flutie in that situation, Dan, many times will spin away and run, but Payton was not giving him any chance to escape.
Alfred Payton just was shot like a rocket off of the corner. Nobody's blocking him. Doug Flutie comes out on the naked bootleg all by himself, and he just, in self-defense, rolls away from Swack. And Alfred says, don't bring that over here to me. Don't bring that weak stuff.
Second and 10. 4 receivers right this time as Flutie sets up in the shotgun. Flutie is flushed out of the pocket. He gets away from Maxey, now throws deep along the sidelines. And he was looking for Pitts again, and Chris Johnson, the safety, came over to defend. The safety position has been a big problem this year for Baltimore. They've had 5 different safeties trying to replace Lester Smith, most of them converted cornerbacks.
And that cornerback right there is Johnson, who made a great attempt at the closing speed, picking up the ball in the air, breaking on it, and making a super defensive play.
So now Mark McLaughlin, who has been good on both field goal attempts with the win from 35 and 32 yards, will be trying a 44-yarder. Now the flags that hang from the goalposts are gently fluttering, not stretched right out, as are the flags high atop the stadium.
Mark's longest kick is 52, but he doesn't see much wind like this. He's kicking it out of bounds.
So this one goes out of bounds at, they'll mark at the 8-yard line.
And that's a good play. That's a call play. I saw Mark practicing that in the pregame warm-up, lining up in the field goal, knocking it out of bounds, making Baltimore scrimmage from where the ball goes out of bounds.
Where is that light switch? Whoops! Sorry. Oh, who moved the china cabinet? Nice dog.
In the dark about buying a new car? See the light at your Mazda dealer's 95 Clear Out. Enjoy great deals like this Mazda 626 Kronos DX with automatic transmission for only $17,395 or lease for just $298 a month. But better hurry.
Larry, is that you?
No, Donna, it's Peter.
My name's Nancy.
Uh-oh.
Merrill is a champ, a member of the War Amp's Child Amputee Program. He lost his arm in a farming accident. Recently, Merrill visited the Sky Dome to present the CFL with the Play Safe Award.
Thanks for the plaque, Merrill. The CFL is proud of the War Amps Play Safe program. Hey, Merrill, any advice for the kids watching at home today?
Don't let it happen to you.
Play safe!
One of these gentlemen will be celebrating this evening and also have the distinction of recording more wins in a single year than any other coach in CFL history.
And Don, you mentioned earlier about the Grey Cup that Wally Buono won in 1977. That was against the Edmonton Eskimos. I remember it fondly, 41-6 in the Ice Bowl. Coach Don Matthews was the defensive coordinator for the Edmonton Eskimos. That was his first year under Huey Campbell.
And 77, as we look at Grey Cup lore, is the year of the staple, the infamous staple that the Montreal team used in their shoes to get better traction on the ice at Olympic Stadium.
You promised me you weren't going to bring that up because there's another couple of hours with the therapist.
Wally Buono always seems to get you going by reminding you about that 1977 Grey Cup game.
He knows exactly which buttons to push on this guy.
First and 10, the ball is at the 9-yard line. Fake inside. Out into the flat to Chris Armstrong, and Armstrong continued on, but they ruled that he was downed after a pickup of just a couple of yards. Armstrong was the leading receiver this year for Baltimore.
64 catches, 1,111 yards, 11 touchdowns. Catches the ball in the flat, long, slips down, knee touches. The hand slid by. Kent Leonard was already by him. I think he could have been able to get up and run the ball for a few more yards.
Second and 7 for Baltimore. Ham is in the shotgun. 3 receivers wide to the right. And down goes Ham. He is dropped for a loss. Zizakovic got to Tracy Ham back at the 2-yard line.
Strecko at 6'5", 265. This is his 6th year with the Calgary Stampeders. Works one-on-one against Neil Ford. Gets the better of that battle. But again, Tracy Ham had a lot of time to stand in the pocket. Good coverage by the Calgary secondary. That's what you call it, a coverage sack.
Well, they don't give out assists on a sack, but Will Johnson should have had one because when he jumped in the air, he blocked the view of Ham and he was forced to pull it down. And then Zizakovic came in to make the tackle. This kick by Miller takes a good Baltimore bounce and rolls out of bounds way back at the Calgary 36-yard line.
One of the cardinal sins I think you don't want to have happen in a major game like this, in a punting situation, is letting that ball hit the turf, because that case, when it hit the turf, it scooted along. It was a 67-yard punt totally, and it made about 20 yards of that was after it hit the turf.
Here in the Calgary bench, Doug Flutie just went onto the field shouting expletives and throwing his jacket on the ground. He was really upset at how the Stampeders lost field position, letting that ball bounce so far down the field. Don?
Well, that's key, as Dan said. You have to field the ball in the air. The pass intended for Sapunjas, and this bounce in front of the Calgary slot back. It will be 2nd and 10.
Doug Flutie just shook and he hit his chest like that. He knows it was his fault. When he looked and he took the snap from the center, he mishandled it himself. Being a timing route, he tried to force the ball, and when it did, it skipped to Dave Sapunjas.
He looks over to John Hufnagel for assistance in calling the next play. 2nd and 10 from the 38. John Hufnagel, the offensive coordinator. All sorts of rumors about Hufnagel and the possibilities that he will be offered a head coaching job somewhere in the Canadian Football League next season. Flutie has time, can't find anybody, now drills it over the middle. It's incomplete, and it was intended for Tony Stewart. So the Calgary Stampeders are unsuccessful in moving the football against the wind. With 1:55 remaining, they'll be kicking it away.
Doug Flutie had second and third thoughts about running that football. Excellent coverage by the Baltimore secondary. Had everybody all across the board covered. Doug jumped up into the pocket and tried to force the throw. That's normally a time when you would see Doug Flutie scramble and pick up the first down, keep possession of the football.
Flutie has missed on his last 4 pass attempts, and now Tony Martino stands back at his own 24-yard line for this 3rd down kick. This This one hangs up in the wind. This is probably going to bounce back. No, it takes a sideways bounce. Picked up there by Wright. And another penalty flag comes down as Wright takes it out of bounds at the 50-yard line.
Now, Tony Martino was making a great effort to try to get downfield, a 13-yard punt, to try to get downfield and recover that ball. I don't know if he is the man that's going to be called for the no yards. And in fact, once they work it out, if they find out that it is Tony Martino that was in the zone, then obviously it would not be a no yards penalty.
Calgary 83, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, the no yards call goes against Tyrone Williams and not Tony Martino, so the 5 yards will move the football to the 46-yard line. Veteran Matt Finlay calling the defensive signals for the Calgary Stampeders. It's 1st and 10 with 1:46 remaining in the half. 3 receivers to the left. The crowd trying to get involved in the football game now as Tracy Ham looks to his left, throws, and Coleman, who was playing off, came driving up, trying to step in front of Clark. He had 2 interceptions for touchdowns in the semifinal game against the Hamilton Ticats, and had he been able to get his hands on this throw, he might have gone for 6 the other way.
Marvin Coleman baited Tracy Ham into throwing this ball. He actually made such a break on it that he overran the ball. The ball was thrown behind he and also the receiver. Excellent defensive play by the corner.
This time Ham steps in behind the center, Subas. Ham is under pressure, throws over the middle, incomplete. Penalty flag on the play.
As soon as Tracy comes out of that pocket and starts to scramble and run, the key is some of those offensive linemen, there it is, are going to grab somebody and try to protect the quarterback. And one of those guys up front was called for holding.
It looks as though it may have been Dixon.
Coming from that right side of Tracy Ham, it's either going to be Dixon or Ford.
Baltimore number 64. Penalties declined, 3rd down.
And it is Mark Dixon.
Mark Dixon, just in the middle of your screen, grabbing a hold at number 84. That's Gonzalo Floyd. That is the only reason why Tracy Ham was able to see as much of the field downfield that he was and to be able to try to attempt that pass.
This could be a Grey Cup record. A 53-yard field goal attempt by Carlos Huerta.
He certainly has the leg for it, Whit.
It's good. And Carlos Huerta etches his name into the Grey Cup record book. Last week, he established a playoff record with 7 field goals, accounting for all the points as Baltimore defeated San Antonio in the South Division final. The previous record, Dave Cutler, a 52-yarder, a former teammate of yours. And this is the 4th field goal in Grey Cup history that has been kicked from beyond the 50-yard line.
He has a very unique address to the ball, a couple of jump steps, and then that powerful leg of this young kicker gets it through for the record field goal. And more importantly, as you said, he was having some trouble with field goals kicking into the wind at the beginning of the game.
Hand off inside to Stewart, and Stewart is going to have 8 yards before being tackled by Charles Anthony with 1:25 remaining in the half. The Stallions now in a 10-point lead.
Calgary got this ball at the beginning of the 2nd quarter. They were ahead 10-7. That changed the philosophy probably of Doug Flutie and what he could do going against the wind. Now when you're behind 23-13, you need to try to score some points and make some things happen. You're going to have to throw the ball downfield.
On 2nd and 2, Stewart is going to be denied the first down by Matt Goodwin. And so Calgary will be forced to send out the punting unit. At least we anticipate that will be the decision of Wally Buono. And he may opt to go for it.
Well, he's showing some great faith at that time with his big offensive line up front, trying to be aggressive and saying, look, I have confidence in you. Get off the ball. Let's pick up the first down. Baltimore said, no way, this defense is going to stop you, and they shut down Tony Stewart before he could come close to the first down marker.
And Calgary has called a timeout, and Doug Flutie moves over to the sidelines to confer with both John Hufnagel and Wally Buono. This could be a huge gamble at this stage. It's third and more than a yard.
Well, what I may see you do is take a guy like Doug Flutie, instead of doing a quarterback sneak, this is a fairly long play, take it and just do a quarterback sweep around one of these ends and just go for the first down.
And you're absolutely right. It's Doug Flutie running the ball. He's got Crysdale leading the way, and he's got the first down.
Well, not exactly the way I said it, but what he did, he play action inside. He came out on the bootleg, and that gives him the option of either running the ball to pick up the first down or throwing it. This time he decided to run it. Take a look. Good fake inside. Stewart. Jamie Crysdale, the center, is the man that's going to lead him out to pick up that first down, keep possession of the football.
From the 51, first and 10. Now Flutie is flushed out, and he is tripped up, tackled by Gerald Bayless. For a moment, things appeared to open up the middle for Doug Flutie, and then Bayless managed to catch him by the foot and trip him up after a pickup of just a couple of yards. Stopping Flutie from throwing the football and also controlling his running ability. One of the defensive plans of the Stallions.
It actually is, and they can do that with that great speed that they possess.
It's deflected to Alan Pitts. It went through the hands of the initial target, Tony Stewart, through Charles Anthony, and then into the hands of Alan Pitts.
First down, you couldn't draw up a tip drill even any better than this. Alan Pitts sitting back, there he is, terrific concentration, picks up the ball, more importantly, picks up a first down, keeps possession.
30 seconds remaining in the half. Flutie operating from the shotgun, penalty flag on the play, and down goes Flutie.
Flag on the play.
Demetrius Maxey brought down Doug Flutie, and it is going to be a penalty call, it would appear, against Calgary.
Illegal procedure against Calgary.
Ladies and gentlemen, the boys and girls, the
illegal procedure.
Slippery, so please
Calgary 18.
use caution.
Penalties declined. Second down.
It will be second down Calgary with 23 seconds remaining in the half and the clock running. Flutie operating from the shotgun, dumping it off to Stewart, trying to set up the screen, and as Stewart tried to cut back where the blocking was setting up, he slipped and fell. He got back to the initial line of scrimmage with just 12 seconds left in the half.
On that particular play, Baltimore very contented, stick back into a zone. If they dump it off, then use that speed again, close the distance quickly, react up, and just stop them short of the first down mark. And that is exactly the way it was drawn up, and that is exactly the way they executed it.
12 seconds remaining in the half as Flutie comes over to the Calgary bench.
10 seconds, 10 seconds.
64-43, the numbers that John Huffnagel is barking out there. We'll wait to see how that play develops. But it's initially that they're going to have to get the ball downfield, probably 10 to 15 yards and out of bounds to give Mark McLaughlin an opportunity for a field goal.
To the sidelines, Terry Vaughn could not hang on. 7 seconds remain, and the Baltimore Stallions send out their offensive unit. Throw just a little high for Terry Vaughn as he went to the sidelines, unable to pull it in. He would have had the first down had Flutie been able to deliver it.
It's awfully hard into this win with quarterbacks, and Ron Lancaster will tell you in our booth, when you try to make a precise throw like that, Doug trying to put a little zip on it, he just is not able to gauge how hard he should throw the ball.
Tracy Ham on the final play, or close to it, of the half, looking over the middle for Chris Armstrong. 3 seconds remaining.
Armstrong incomplete. Second and 10, Baltimore's ball at 42.
10-point lead for Tracy Ham. All he needs to do, take it back, get in the shotgun, air it out one time, see if he can make something big happen right before the half.
receivers deep, looks over to the sidelines. Robert Drummond has the ball, and Drummond is stopped as he gets to the 47-yard line on what is the final play of the first half here at Taylor Field. And the Baltimore Stallions head to the dressing room with a 10-point lead. Special teams accounting for 2 of the Baltimore touchdowns. Down to the sidelines, here's Steve.
Thank you, Don. With me now is Don Matthews. Don, a thought from you on the first half.
Well, you know, this wind is really making it a funny game, and the disappointing part from our point of view is I know Calgary's going to have the win in the fourth quarter, so this third quarter is very, very vital for us to put some points on the board.
Don, if you had to give the game ball away to any part of your team right now, it would probably be your special teams.
Well, yeah, that's right. Special teams is part of our team, though, and we always keep it in the team concept.
Don, good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
Don Matthews, the head coach of the Baltimore Stallions, goes to the dressing room with a 10-point lead. Scott, to you.
All right, Steve, so it is Baltimore sitting on a 10-point lead at halftime. Stand by now for the Chrysler Canada Grey Cup halftime report.